Well, let's get it started, man. Well, thank you guys for tuning into another episode here at Grizzly Talk Podcast. Man, I'm already
You already
stumbling now.
forgot?
I know, but man, thank you guys for tuning in. I am your co-host at Mike on the Mic. Here with us today, we got,
David Albers F.
and we also got special guests here with us today. 12 Gage in the building,
Yes, sir.
man.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It's my first time doing anything like this, so I'm super excited.
Man, well, I'm glad you're able to do it here, man. So I know you just came in from LA. You want to
Mhm.
introduce yourself, tell everyone.
Yeah, so my name is Gage, but I go by 12 Gage as a producer. I make dubstep primarily, but I've been making a little bit of everything for around 10 years now. And I started when I was around 3 or 4. That's the first time I ever picked up a guitar, and literally from that point on, I always had a guitar in my hands. And then I eventually picked up drumming somewhere around there, like maybe 10 years into my guitar career. Also, these are just estimates. I genuinely don't know when the fuck I started drumming.
Yeah.
So, picked up drumming, picked up singing, started doing my own like metal screams and stuff because I always liked metal. That was like what I enjoyed playing the most. Whether it was just like chugging on a drop E chord in my room, like, oh, this sounds gnarly, or just on the drums, just ripping it, breaking sticks every single time I sat behind the drums. I've been like raised by heavy music, and now I make dubstep, which is like the metal of the EDM world, you know. So it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely been a journey for sure, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So how were your parents like into music, or how they put, because they had to put the guitar in your
Absolutely.
hand, so how
Yeah.
did that come
So,
about?
my mom was in everything I did in my life, she was a big advocate of you're not quitting. Like, you're not going to quit this. She was like that with football. My dad was like that with hockey. Um, and when I first started learning how to, it's actually the way I started learning how to play guitar is a funny story. I was on a TV show called Stalker on NBC. No, not Stalker. It was no, it wasn't Stalker.
He just
It was have you guys heard of Beverly Hills Cop with
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy? So they were doing a TV show spin-off of it, like with Eddie Murphy, where his son is a detective now. And I was in the pilot episode, but it never got picked up, so the show never went anywhere. But in that episode, I was playing this little kid who gets kidnapped, and before he gets kidnapped, he's learning how to play guitar and stuff. So that was my like first real intro to playing the guitar. I like before that I had lessons and stuff, but I never really gravitated towards it until that point. And from that point on, I was like, "Mom, I want a guitar. I want my own guitar. Dad, I want my own guitar." My dad was like, we'll get you a guitar, but your one condition is you have to learn how to play Jesse's Girl. And I'm
Okay.
forgetting. It's not Rick Springsteen. Rick
I don't know
Springfield.
who, but I know the
You know, yeah,
Jesse's girl. Yeah.
exactly. So that was the first song I ever learned how to play, on the guitar, and then started gravitating towards the heavier stuff. But like specifically with my influence in EDM, that comes from my mom. She's been
Okay.
listening to EDM. She's been going to raves since she moved out here, when she was like 18 or 19 or whatever. Like, she went to the EDCs in LA before they moved to Vegas. She snuck my sister in. She went to the Dead Mouse back to back Cascade show at the Coliseum without telling me. That happened a few years ago, and I was like, "What? I want to go to that! Like, are you kidding me?" So growing up, I always listened. There was always EDM playing, whether it was house, techno, psytrance. Whenever I'd wake up in the morning, my mom was blasting it in the kitchen. So that was like my intro to EDM. And then I found I found Skrillex, I found OG Spaghetti, I found Panda Eyes, all through like these weird obscure like dubstep YouTube channels that would just upload mixes with weird like anime girls on them and stuff. And that was my first intro to EDM. Like, I definitely owe that all to my mom because she was the one who got me into that.
Yeah. So now, how do they feel about you doing the music? Because they were, so were your parents kind of strict? It sounds like, or
They were, yeah, my mom was extremely strict. She was a single mom because my mom and my dad got divorced when I was pretty young. So she was definitely, Wait, what do you mean by like strict growing up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause like they had the no quit,
Yeah,
attitude, and
absolutely. She was super, super strict, always like pushing me to be my best in school, even though I've never been super book smart. And my mom and my dad specifically, has always been super supportive of everything I've wanted to do, whether it be high level athletics, whether it be art, whether it be acting, because I grew up doing that as well. But specifically with music, my mom is definitely a little iffy on it because of how much time I'm spending away from school, because I'm still in college.
oh, you
I
are.
graduate this May.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way,
So I've traveled. This is my third time traveling this month.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to San Francisco at the beginning of the month. Just got back from Washington, like last weekend. Here I am in Fresno. In 2 weeks, I'm flying out to Orlando for a music festival. Like,
Wow.
so she's definitely like, look, I support your music through and through, but you have to finish school first. Like that's always been super important to her. And then my dad is just whatever I wanted to do, support it wholeheartedly. I would not be where I am without my dad. He helped me get my first set of decks that I could actually like learn how to DJ on. He's came to every one of my like first shows. Obviously, you can't come to these ones because they're far and he works too, you know.
Yeah,
So, but every like I was literally just texting him right now. He's like, I want clips of this podcast as soon as they come out. And
that's
I was
sweet.
like,
Yeah,
don't worry, you're literally gonna be the first person to see it.
yeah. Because you said that you moved out like right when you were 18.
Moved out when
Why?
I turned 18 for
Why is
college.
that? Oh,
Um,
did you move out to go to college, or
a few reasons
a few
definitely.
reasons?
I grew up in a semi-hostile household. Um, for a lot of reasons. I won't get super into those details, but it was a hostile household for sure. My mom and I, as supportive as she's been of me, and as driven as she's like driven that mentality into my head, being driven and ambitious and going for the top for everything that I want to do. Um, it's like oil and water, me and her. We've never seen eye to eye on a whole lot of things. So I wanted to move in with my dad, and she was helping me with school. And she's like, "Look, if and because they got divorced, my mom and my dad have like never really liked each other.
Yeah,
So she gave me an ultimatum. She's like, "Look, if you don't leave your dad's house, I'm not paying for college." How the fuck am I gonna pay for college on my own? You know, I never even had a job at that point. So moved out of my other than acting, you know. So with the money I'd made from acting, bought my first car, um, got my first apartment, and from 18 to the end of last year, I was completely on my own, going to school. So learned a lot there. That was a learning experience.
yeah. When you
What kind of acting stuff have you done?
Everything. I've
Any
done
big things that that we would recognize you from?
um probably I mean, unless you watch a lot of primetime television. I was on a show called Stalker. I was on a show called I was on the reboot of a Beverly Hills Cop spinoff that never got picked up. Um, I was in a movie called Yellow. I've done more commercials than I can count over the years, and my most recent one, right before I graduated high school, I was on a kids show on Nickelodeon for a few episodes called Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn.
That's crazy. How
Yeah,
is it being on those sets? Like,
fucking awful.
really?
I'm gonna be honest, it's awful because
Why? Why is
so
that?
the majority of the kids on as much acting work as I'd done at the time, I was still the black sheep. I was the odd one out. Everybody on that show was an established actor for multiple seasons. And obviously being a kid, the kids can't come to set alone, you know? They have to have a parent there. So all of the moms would just sit around on their phones all day gossiping about everyone. Everyone. Like I remember I had a coworker, or I had a co-actor. His name was Miles. And he was black. And I remember there was a rumor that started spreading that I called him the N-word. That I was like, huh? Like my mom, she pulled me out of the onset school because as a kid you have to be in school when you're not on set. And she pulled me out and she's like, did you call Miles like the N-word? And I was like, what? Like I was so confused. Obviously my heart was racing because I was like, one, I never said that. Two, like, holy shit,
Why would they
am I gonna get kicked off this show for this? And my mom and I, like, after talking about it a little bit more and more, we were like, okay, you know what? These moms, they have nothing better than do. They have nothing better to do but sit around and gossip about their kids and all the other kids and their parents all fucking day. It was
That's
Amazing.
insane.
so bad, and that mentality was like throughout my entire acting career. Like my mom was always she was always the one who was on set with me, and she was like, if you don't perform like your best and stuff, you're gonna get fired, you're gonna get yada yada. Like I was always on thin ice with her, it felt like. So it was never like a cool experience, like, oh, let's go travel and stuff. All of the downtime I spent was working on my lines with my mom, so I never really got to enjoy a whole lot of it, and that in turn I think made me have a really bad relationship with it. um Eventually maybe I'll find my way back to it. Who knows? Like, who knows anything in life?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's
No.
crazy. Like everybody thinks it's so like cool and
Exactly. Like,
you
let's
know
be
it's
famous. Let's be actors. Let's go make myself cry and stuff. Like, no, that is so surface level. Until you experience it, you're never gonna know. Like, have you guys? Do you know who Dan Schneider is?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Seen the documentary
Yeah,
about
yeah.
him?
I was about to ask
Some of
about
it, yeah, some of it, but
I worked on the same set with him.
You got to
was
meet
he
him.
really
I
that
never
crazy?
got to I never got to meet him. My mom never let me. Because at the time, that was way before any of this stuff had come out, before he like molested Drake Bell and who was the girl who Jeanette McCurdy,
Yeah,
before he like started doing all this weird
the
stuff,
iCarly stuff.
all the
Yeah,
All that
iCarly
foot
stuff, the
stuff.
weird foot stuff. Like, have
Yeah.
you paid attention to how many feet pics are in iCarly? How many scenes that are just so centered around feet and toes and stuff. That guy is a weirdo. And my mom knew that. And so she would never let me around him, whether he was on set that day, whether he wasn't. So I never got to meet him, but it was literally like the acting, excuse me.
yeah.
The acting world is, I think, more hostile than the music world, which if you guys have had other musicians on this show, they would all tell you it's brutal.
The music
It's
scene.
every man for himself.
Yeah,
It's bad
yeah.
because it's not like when it first started, especially if musicians carry the mentality of like Plur, like the whole raving mentality, peace, love, unity, respect, inclusivity for everybody. You would think that more musicians would carry that into like their careers and stuff, which they did at the beginning, but now it is literally like how many more followers do I have than you? How many more tracks have I had played out than you? Like, oh, you only have 1,400 followers. You're a nobody compared to me. Yada yada yada. Like, literally, that video that I was showing you guys of when Benda and Drink Your Water played my track at Thunderdome last weekend, there were probably 20, 30 comments that were all tagging me in their comments. You want to know what happened? You guys want to guess what happened?
People started attacking you, or
Every single one was hidden.
What the?
why is that? Because they don't want the track. They don't want
They don't want you
the
to get the
publicity,
credit?
or
That's crazy.
That's I may get shit for this if this makes it out, but I'm a firm believer that there's not room at the top for everybody. And the big boys know that especially.
Mhm.
And so when people start getting recognition for their stuff, like that was probably the highest quality video I showed you guys before we started rolling. That was probably the highest quality video of one of my tracks that has ever been made at the biggest venue that one of my tracks has ever been played out at. And no recognition for it whatsoever. They didn't tag me, they tagged the artist playing. Thankfully, like, I've been talking with Drink Your Water on Instagram and stuff, and he's like, dude, this was a heater. I found it on SoundCloud a few months ago and instantly had to download it for Thunderdome. And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
dude,
What do those moments feel like? Like,
oh my
because I know you were
God.
talking a little bit. You were in the middle of practicing a set, and your
Yeah.
phone starts.
So you mean moments like when
Can
I
you tell
find
that
out-
story?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So it was day 3 of Thunderdome last weekend. Day 1 and 2 had already happened. My girlfriend and I flew in from Los Angeles to Seattle Tacoma Airport. My buddy picked us up and took us to the Airbnb, and everybody was there. Like Susie was there, Brooke was there, Kennedy was there, and everybody was just like labbing, working on their music and stuff, vibing. And Susie finished working on her set, and she's like, "Does anyone else want to plug in and work on it?" And at the time, I never even played out any of those tracks that I had for that set, so I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" So I'm working on it, and then all of a sudden, Vu, my manager, starts blowing my phone up. Like 3 missed calls go by, and I notice it, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, Vu." But I was like, I don't have time for this right now. I love you so much, Vu. I wouldn't be where I am right now without you, but I was so locked in. I did not have time for your call. All of a sudden, my iMessages starts blowing up. Then my Instagram starts blowing up while like I'm working on my set. He calls me again, and I'm like, okay, let me see like what this is about. First words out of his mouth: "Have you looked at Instagram?" I was like, "No, what happened?" He's like, "Bend and drink your water and played your track at Thunderdome." And I was like, "Shut up, you're lying." And he goes, Lara, his executive assistant. Lara's the one who found it. I'm sending it to you right now. He sends it to me. I watched the video, and my girlfriend was asleep in the other room, and I woke her up because of how loud I was screaming. So surreal, dude. And everybody in that house was a producer too. So like everybody was, it wasn't like there was no jealousy, no hate whatsoever. Everybody was just so like, "Oh my god, like this is insane." And literally all day, like my phone died in the middle of Thunderdome because of how many notifications were just going through. So
That's
that
insane. Yeah.
feeling, it's happened a few times. Like I've had a few tracks played out. AT Aliens played one of my tracks at not Thunderdome, Lost Lands in September last year. That feeling never changes. It's happened a lot since the first one, and it's like your heart is just beating so fast. You're literally like shaking, and oh my god, it's like it's honestly part of what makes all this worth it.
Yeah.
Just hearing your brainchild, your passion child, something you worked so many hours, days, weeks, even months on, get recognized and see that people like it. That's like people talk about the like getting like validation from other people and stuff, and some people are like, I don't do it for like the validation of other people. I'm similar. Like I'll never do this for the sole purpose of like fame or making money and stuff. Like I'm not being paid to play the show tonight
Mm.
at Fresno. I don't care about the money. I would play obviously travel costs suck, but like if I was never paid another dime for playing a show, I would still be doing this the rest of my life. And those moments of hearing your tracks be recognized, something you work so hard on by so many people, it's what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And it's something you truly just have to experience. Like I could talk about it all day, but at the end of the day, you just have to experience it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome,
And
dude.
that fires you up to go and do the next thing.
Exactly. It's those moments when you forget why you're doing this in the first place. Everybody has those moments. I was just talking to this about I was just talking about this to one of my buddies who was struggling with the same thing, and it's like you lose sight of it so many times and so easily of why you're doing this in the first place. For me, I'm I have it remembered every single time something like that happens. Even when I'm just like listening to one of my own mixes in the car and just like vibing out and stuff, and I'm just like, this is why I do this. I want to share this feeling with everybody else. That's my reason for doing this. And I've lost sight of that so many times, especially when I was trying to get my first show last April. I was like, dude, why is this so hard and stuff? And it's like, why am I doing this, And I start working on something. I start like whether it's a song, a mix, a remix or whatever, and I feel so good inside. I feel so complete, and I'm reminded that's why.
Yeah. And
That's
that's what
why.
drives you to keep
That's
on
what
going.
drives me to make other people feel the way this music makes me feel.
Mhm.
Because this feeling should not be exclusive to me. Everybody on this planet should feel as good as the way I do when I'm making this music.
Yeah.
They should. It's what keeps me going, dude. I was raised by video games and EDM.
Have you ever heard of the gym brand? It's a gym apparel brand. It's called Gymshark.
Jim, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's this guy that I listen to. His name's Alex Hermosi. I guess. So he had an interview with the CEO of them.
Of Gymshark?
Yeah, Jim Shark. I don't know his name. I don't follow the
Okay.
brand or anything. But he was asking how did you get so big? Like how did your brand grow so big? And he said that he grew his online business because Gymshark is an online business in person. So he was there at every like anything that had to do with gymming. He was there. He was showing his brand, giving stuff away.
Promoting his shit. Yep.
So when you said you could go to any like you'll just keep doing it for free, like you're building your brand
Exactly.
in person.
It's
like,
the exposure. That's the most important thing at my step. Because, like, even though compared to like someone like Drink Your Water, I'm nobody. I have if you want to like count Instagram followers into it, I have 1,400. I'm coming up on 1,500, but 1,400 is nothing compared to like he's got 17,000 on SoundCloud, and it is anyone who's a producer on SoundCloud knows how hard it is to grow there. So like compared to him, I'm a nobody. So all of my first shows and stuff, even shows like this, it's all exposure. And just for the love of doing it, like showing that like yeah, I'm a force to be reckoned with. I am someone you are going to have the time of your life at one of your shows, and the media, the clips, stuff like this. It's so important. It's so integral. Like I remember when I brought up to my manager that I was coming on the Grizzly Talk podcast. He was like, "Are they paying you?" And I was like, "Fuck no." I wouldn't take it even if they wanted to pay me. Like it's literally just I just love every aspect of this business. Playing the shows, making the music, promoting my brand, promoting my music, talking to people, getting to know people. Like this, it's literally what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't take a dime if that meant that I got to keep doing this the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's crazy because that exposure really does make a difference.
It
And
does, because that's what people see on the internet, on
Mhm.
Instagram and stuff.
But
That's
then when you see it live, it's such a different experience, especially like at some of these festivals. Like, I wasn't ever really too big into like, I guess you can talk like the EDM music and all that sort of stuff. But I remember I went to a festival called Lightning in a Bottle.
love lightning in a bottle.
Man, when it was
Love
back
that.
at San Antonio Lake.
Okay.
Right. And so at the time I was able to get in for free. Right, because
Sheesh. Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
it was so we just went, and every year because of like how small that town is, everybody within that zip code got free passes to go in.
Really?
Yes. So it was sick.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so
What?
you just show your ID at the door
And
and
get in
you
for
have
free.
and get in for free all the
What?
days that you want.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
And so it was pretty sick. So I just went and I like really didn't think any. I've never been to a festival or anything, right? But I started to notice, like, especially there, I remember there was like everybody was just so cool. Everybody was having a great time. No phones anywhere. Nobody was
Really?
out recording or doing anything. And I met, or I didn't meet, but I heard we went on a set and it was Big Wild playing.
Big Wild.
Big Wild.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Dude, I he's who got me into EDM music. So like now, like it's funny, me and my cousin, we go up like snowboarding and stuff.
Okay.
And so we call it like the snow days track or the snowboarding track. So like we play
That's
nothing but
dope, dude.
EDM music like on the way up and stuff. But like after that, it was crazy. Like I saw him, I saw Zoo as
I know
well.
Zoo. I know
Right.
Zoo.
And dude, their music was just the energy, the man, it's just crazy. Like I still have a very vivid like moment of being there, feeling the music, seeing the
Was that
lights
your
and
first
everything.
event?
It was my first, yeah, that festival I'd ever been to.
I remember the exact same thing about Hard Summer 2022. That was
Really,
my first one.
man.
That's when, because I just turned 18 that April. So it happened in, I think, June or July.
Mhm.
And I was dead sober for that, like no drinking, no anything, because I didn't know that's what people like did at festivals. I was still such a noob. I was there for the music, and oh my god, it was life changing. I
Yeah,
literally
I was completely sober too. So I would imagine if I was drinking or anything like
yeah,
that.
it's like it almost felt like I was high on stimulation. Like so much to look at, so many people, so much stuff going on, especially when it got dark, all the lights, all the art installations, all the stages. It's just like and like all the energy of the people. It's like, especially like when Plur is like alive and thriving at a festival and stuff, it's impossible not to just feel so like,
Yeah, like
like just
you just
cheesing the
feel.
whole time.
Yeah,
So I totally could
I
see.
imagine the people that are rolling, it's probably like insane or something.
Oh my god, yeah. It's
Yeah,
my girlfriend and I, we're almost, so we're like the rave mom and dad of our group. Like usually we're not really doing anything. Um but we, if we see someone who's like a little fucked up or a little like especially the people like sitting on the ground with their pashminas over their heads, Maddie is the first. That's my girlfriend's name, Maddie. She is the first person to go over and make sure they need anything, and whatever they need, we've got in our backpack. So like, you need water, you need gum, you need the little Vicks nasal inhaler things, and she, it's like that at every single festival. Like we've tried to be grounds control and stuff. You guys know what ground control is, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we've tried to, and I just got the invite to do it for EDC this year.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know if we're going to EDC yet because we may be going to Lost Lands, and that's like my dream festival because it's Excision's festival. It's almost strictly dubstep. Stage. Did you see the stage design for it
No,
last year? It was literally like a 500-foot tall plasma screen TV.
Damn.
And you guys know Excision's production is crazy. So like crazy lasers, insane visuals, like Marvel level CGI visuals. It's just, when I saw videos of it, I was, come on, like come the fuck on.
yeah.
Is this real life? So it's like, that was like, all right, you know what? As a graduation gift to myself, after May, I'm buying a Lost Lands ticket for Maddie and I. And we're sending it to Ohio. We
Bro,
have
that
to.
yeah, yeah,
We have to, cause like, yeah, I love all EDM, but dubstep is where it's at for me. I make the shit, you know. So
yeah.
it's, and the dubstep crowds especially are. I don't know how many of dubstep events have you guys gone to.
Bro, honestly, not any, I would say.
So is my is
Your
well,
yeah, your set tonight is probably gonna be because they went to Ski's last event.
Well,
okay,
the
Well, the
not the
one
last one, but
before,
the one
the one
before.
in December.
Yeah, the last one
okay.
they had was like for the fires in LA.
But I was like deadly sick, bro. Like,
Fuck.
yeah, I was so sick, so I couldn't make it. So they went without me, obviously. So I mean, we're gonna see what it's like tonight as well.
I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. I've put so much work into this set, so much new music and stuff from me, from the homies. It's
Mhm.
like I showed you the visuals on my phone a little bit. That blown up on the big
Yeah,
ass
you wanna
LED
is
wall.
this your design too? The sweater you're wearing right
No,
now?
actually, so this is from a brand called Scummy Bears. They make like, they make like rave clothing and stuff, but they also just do like alternative clothing in general. Like my favorite part about this hoodie is the little bear ears.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Right, because
that's
it's
dope.
scummy bears, like gummy bears, but scummy. So it's like, and it's just so fucking high quality. Like I wore this hoodie in Washington in 17-degree weather, and I was like, I was chilling. Yeah, I was freezing my balls off, but like I would have been,
Yeah.
like the only thing I could think of that would have been better than this is like a straight up snowboarding jacket.
Mhm.
Like insulated, down feather, everything. Like this hoodie, I wear it everywhere. I think the last like 5 posts on my Instagram, I'm wearing this.
You're wearing that.
Yeah. I'm also not sponsored by them in the slightest. So I just love their stuff so much. Like they make these little like cloak kind of things that are like super soft, and they come in like crazy designs, and it's like long sleeves, hood, and the cloak like comes down to here. It's almost like a wizard cloak almost, and it's like open right here so you can still see like everything you're wearing underneath, and those things. Oh, dude, the amount of times I've been sick and just worn that like for 3 days straight.
Man.
Life changing. But yeah, this is Scummy Bears. I have a hoodie up on my website right now that's kind of similar to this because I love the design so much, but it's obviously 12 gauge oriented. So that one is where
Are
was
are
it?
people able to go and buy that right now?
Yeah, people are able to go buy that right now.
Where
It's
would they buy it?
12 gauge shop, 12 gauge clothing.shop.
Okay.
And it literally 12 gauge merchandise. It's got like a picture of like the lasers and everything. It's up right now. We've got more than enough hoodies in stock. So if anybody wants to go buy them, feel free. You're gonna love it. They're the highest quality, highest printing. I've worn this hoodie everywhere, and like the screen printing on it and stuff. It's unfazed. Exact same design, or exact same, not design, but exact same clothing manufacturing style is that. So anyone who picks that up, you're gonna fucking love it. I
Man, that's
promise.
dope.
Yeah. And as soon as they come in, like I've got like a photo shoot with like my girlfriend, with some of my friends and everyone going on. So those will be up as soon as all those hoodies come in.
That's what I like the designs, man. I like the website looks really good too. If you guys want to check it out, again, it was 12 gauge clothing or
12gageclothing.shop.
dot shop.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, check it out, guys. And so you said you've been doing this for 10 years. You've been producing for 10 years. You're you're only 21, like so you were doing this since 11 years old. Like,
Yep.
what does that process look like? How do you put a song together?
Okay, so there's a whole lot of ways you can go about it. I'm very fortunate to have had an extensive music theory understanding prior to going into music production and stuff.
Because you've been playing.
Exactly,
Uh,
guitar, drums. I like to think I have a great internal metronome, even though whatever program you're using does that for you. You know, you kind of just like put stuff in and it like makes it on time. But I had a great understanding of all that stuff prior to going in, and I had so many ideas just in my head of just crazy EDM stuff, like bass patterns, drum patterns, all that stuff. And that's one of the most important things of going into music production. You could teach someone how to what every button in your DAW, your digital audio workstation, that's what they're called. You could teach someone what every single button, every single function in that stuff does. But if you don't have an idea, you're not going to make anything worth listening to. And I've told that to a few people that I've given lessons to, because I actually do give lessons. Um, you need an idea. You're not going to get anywhere without an idea. That's what every single bit of my music has stemmed from, an idea that I just had in my head for a week, for 10 years, you need it. And you could start on any part of the song. I like to start on the intro. It's kind of unorthodox the way I do it. A lot of people lay down a drum pattern and make like a bass pattern and stuff, and that's where they start working on the drop. I love just going from start to finish with that idea in my head. So like that's one of the things you guys will see tonight is my intros. I over engineer the fuck out of them. It's like I don't want to say cinema quality because I'm by no means like a film score person. I could not do that even if I tried. But they're just super cinematic, and it builds anticipation, and it just when it drops, it's almost like you're edging.
yeah.
Sorry, I know that's super inappropriate, but like I almost like to think of it like that. Like it's just building and building and building and building, and then the drop is just like, wow, you guys will hear it. This is hands down my favorite intro that I've ever made.
Man, I'm excited.
Hands down. So it's gonna be dope. But back to the production kind of conversation. That's where I start, is like the intro. I make like a weird like pad atmosphere kind of thing, like world building. It's literally like world building. You're building a world. You're building a soundscape. It's like filmmaking. That's what I'm in school for. I'm about to graduate with a degree in screenwriting. So it's literally building a world and just like adding different things onto it and stuff. And um it just it just adds to that one idea that you had at the start. And if you know like all the technical stuff, like what certain frequencies sound harsh, what certain frequencies sound muddy and stuff, and all of that stuff. That's what I teach people, is all that technical stuff. I can't teach someone how to have an idea. That comes from experience. That comes from
The
listening.
creativity,
The
and that's kind of
creativity, the
something that.
listening to as much music as humanly friggin' possible.
Yeah.
I'm listening to music all the time, in the car, when I'm working out. It's just there's always something in my head. I'm gonna show you guys something on my phone right now. It's a little list of ideas of stuff that I
That
have.
you just have ready to go, so because you think
You
of
want
these
to you
things
want to take a
randomly, right?
scroll through this notes thing?
It's
He has way more now.
Yeah. Yes. So
It
these
just
ideas
keeps
just come
on
to you,
being.
right?
Yeah, and obviously I'm not always at my computer 24/7 to be able to put one of those ideas down. So that's where they live. And if I'm experiencing like a dry spell, if I have hardcore writer's block, that's the first place I go to. Like, all right, let's work my way down the list. Some of those ideas are years old, and I just have not had time
To
because
get
I'm
to
I'm
them.
just so ADHD. There's always a million things going on in my head that I just haven't had a chance to like get to them
And
and
so
stuff.
how did you start building yourself as an artist? I know now you have a manager. How does
Um,
one even do that?
so your brand is everything. That's what people are gonna see you as. Before 12 gauge was created, and actually I'll tell you guys the story in a little bit of how 12 gauge was created. I went by Omni, and I was looking for and my sound design, my like whole kind of style was completely different when I was going by Omni. It was, do you guys know who Virtual Riot is?
No.
So Virtual Riot is one of my number one inspirations. He's probably the most brilliant producer in terms of sound design. One of the most brilliant, because there's millions of them, but one of the most brilliant sound engineers and producers I've ever met. I've never met him, but like, just knowing of him, listening to all of his stuff for years, he's on another fucking level. But I went by Omni because that was one of the first part of one of my original gamer tags on Xbox Live. It was Omnitech 115.
That's how I got my name.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people
Yeah.
got their name, and I was like okay with it, but it also didn't really speak to who I am as an artist, because what's the first thing people are going to hear in terms of you as an artist? Your name, right? Who Drink Your Water. Oh yeah, I know him. Excision. Oh yeah, I know him. Sudden Death. Oh yeah, I know him. Like their name almost like invokes what kind of music they make like inside of you, in my opinion at least.
So that's like
uh
12 gauge. It's like
so yeah, I was looking for a new name at the time, because like something to go by, because I never really resonated with Omni, and I was telling my girlfriend the story of how I was given my name. My real name is Gage. It's literally like 12 Gage is spelled Gage, because that's how my God-given birth name is, and my
the government name.
my government name, exactly. Yeah. My dad is a big gun freak. Like he's obviously not like crazy like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
weird supremacist
But an
shit. Fuck that.
enthusiast.
He's an enthusiast. He
Yeah.
loves guns, and I was raised with that same mentality, thinking that, oh yeah, guns are like, there's something really beautiful and there's something really scary about them, because it's this you can hold it in the palm of your hand, but in the palm of your hand you have the power to take someone's life. That's super, like that's a scary thought,
It
no?
is. Yeah.
But
Even when you
like,
hold it, like,
exactly.
yeah.
As soon as you hold it, you are holding the power to, if you point it at someone and pull the trigger, you essentially are wiping them off the face of the planet. Everything that they've done, worked for, all their experiences, gone. That went dark. Sorry. But what the so I was telling her the story of why I was given the name, because my dad's favorite gun is a 12 gauge shotgun. And I was telling her that story, and she was like listening to it, and just for a few seconds of silence, why don't you call yourself 12 gauge? I've never felt more stupid in that period of time than I have in my entire life.
You're like, that's a
I
great
was
idea.
like, why have I never thought of this? I've told this story so many times. So she was the one who created 12 gauge. And at the time I was transitioning into a much more heavy style of music, because that's the stuff I was listening to, like Kaiwachi, Excision, Sudden Death, Prosecute, Nimda, all those guys. Like they were who I was listening to at the time, and um, I was like, dude, that's so perfect, because it's like it's heavy, it's in your face. Like when you hear the name 12 gauge, you're like, oh, that guy probably makes some heavy fucking dubstep. So that's how I got the name. And then when I was like trying to figure out who I wanted to what I wanted to represent, who I wanted to represent, I wanted to definitely incorporate an element of my past into it because I've always kind of struggled with. Um, I don't really put on as much as a lot of people do in terms of like, yeah, I struggle with like identity and stuff, but I've never had a firm sense of who I am, what I want to be, that kind of thing. I've jumped around to a million kinds of things, and um, for whatever reason, the black eye makeup that what's his name, the guy who was in Twilight, the guy who plays Edward,
Edward. Uh-huh.
yeah, him. When he was in Batman, because he was just in another Batman reboot, he's got this super dark black cakey eye makeup that like has like drips almost. That looks like he's crying, and I was like, that's hard as fuck. So she is an amazing makeup artist. So she did that look in my first photo shoot, and that's who I started branding myself as. And tying that all into what you asked about, how do you brand yourself, how do you market yourself as an artist? um when people hear you, no, but even before that, when people see you, that's who they think. That first impression, when you see my artist shots and when you see my press pics and stuff like that, even before you hear my music, yeah, that guy probably makes heavy music, you know? And that's not even just me saying that. That's what I've gotten from other people. And then they hear my music and they're like, oh, yeah, I was right. He makes some heavy fucking dubstep. So it's literally about your image, what you want to represent, what you're putting out to the world, because that's the first thing that people are seeing before they, especially with as important as social media is nowadays. You know, like that's what people are seeing. And then they hear your music and they're able to put a name to a face. That's what I've had absolutely the most success with, is being able to do that, because I've talked with a lot of producers and stuff. Sorry, I'm yapping,
No, no,
but
yeah.
I've talked with a lot of producers um, who struggle with that. Like they make some crazy music, but they don't have a brand. They don't have an identity. They don't push something out for this world to see before they even before the world even hears their music. And it is so important. You could be the most talented producer on planet Earth, but if you don't have a brand, if you don't have someone, if you don't have something someone can put a name to a face to a name with, you're not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah. What do you
And
think about those guys that like they wear a mask like Marshmallow and like
so there's a whole lot of reasons that someone could do that. I know a few people who wear masks when they perform. The one I hear the most is stage fright, performance anxiety. They're so hyper aware of everything their face is doing when they're performing. They maybe they hate the way their face looks. Maybe they also struggle with identity issues. So they wear this mask and they are no longer the person the world sees without the mask. Like
that makes sense. Yeah.
exactly.
What have been like some of your challenges like along the way?
um Getting my music heard. Again, it's really hard to do any of that without a social media following or at least a peer group. My entire life, I've always been I've always been the weird kid who listens to EDM. You know, I was raised by Dead Mouse. That's who my mom introduced me to all those years ago. And he's since been one of my favorites. I've seen him at every festival I go to, and I'm the only one screaming the lyrics to his songs. So, um, definitely getting my music heard has been one of the issues. Another one has just been going back and forth with, do I want to do this, because I've been ridiculed, I've been made fun of, I've been beat the fuck up for my music taste. I've always been the weird kid who listens to EDM. But at some point I just embraced it. I was like, dude, this music, regardless of what anyone may do or say to me or make me feel, this music makes me feel so good. I'm just going to embrace it. And that was one of the biggest challenges for sure, because I never had anyone to do that with. It's always been just me. Up until around a year ago in April, I was just thrust into this world when I played my first show of just everybody who loved the same music as me, appreciated me as a person, appreciated me as an artist, you know? Um, that was hands down the biggest challenge, was just struggling my entire life with um, just how do I even word this? You get the idea.
Yeah.
You get the
Yeah. No,
idea.
100%.
How do you deal with all that hate that you've got?
The music. I've had a lot of really unhealthy coping mechanisms in my life. I won't get into that because that's not, no one wants to hear that shit. But I've always been I've always been a firm believer of just letting myself feel what I want to feel, and the music helps me with that. Before we started rolling, I mentioned to you guys how like I was a metal guitarist, metal drummer. I even got into metal vocals at some point. That was my coping mechanism, is just being able to just let the fuck loose to this heavy ass music. Before dubstep, it was metal. Now it's dubstep, but I still listen to metal. Whenever I snowboard, I only listen to metal. I don't listen to EDM when I snowboard. So
you're just shredding down the mountain, I'm sure.
I'm just beelining it down whatever hill I see, passing by all the Jerry's, like just black. Like the last time I was snowboarding, I listened to all of I Prevail's most recent album, and my God, do you guys know who I Prevail is?
No, I'm like the heaviest metal I go is maybe like System of a Down or something.
Well, System of a Down is still pretty heavy, but I Prevail is more so metalcore. So think Avenged Sevenfold. They're metalcore. Think um Asking Alexandria, Breaking Benjamin, all those bands, they're metalcore. They're super heavy and stuff, but there's still aspects of melodic music in it and stuff, and that's just what I love so much. I've always loved the hint of melodic, the hint of emotion on that just sits behind all of the kind of fuck you, you know. That's um that's definitely my favorite part of that kind of music.
Mhm.
But the heavy stuff, that's how I've coped. Also, I've been an athlete my entire life. The gym keeps me sane.
What do you train, or
So
what kind of sports?
I grew up playing everything. Football, ice hockey, basketball, baseball, volleyball. I played volleyball in college up until I broke my collarbone. Um, I I'm nothing without being active, being outside, moving my body and stuff. Going to the gym, like I said, it keeps me sane. I lose my mind if I'm not going to the gym. Uh, my collarbone injury and stuff was the absolute worst because I wasn't able to work out.
Mhm.
My girlfriend literally needed to take care of me. She needed to like shower me, dress me, wipe my ass. I'm just kidding. She didn't need to wipe my ass, but
That's a real one.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, she would. I know she would if I needed it.
Yeah.
I know she would.
So that takes me into another question I always like to ask is like, how important do you think having the right partner is when you're
Infinitely.
growing? Yeah.
Infinitely. Because when you decide to commit to a partner and stuff, it's no longer just you. It's no longer just my feelings. It's no longer I'm alone. You have another person's feelings to take in account. And when you get that kind of chemistry right, we just kind of hit a rough patch at the end of last year, but we're really working towards things, and we're like better than we've ever been right now, just because I'm doing the things that I should have been doing from the get go. Now she's doing the things that she should have been doing from the get go. Communication is everything. But having a partner that like supports what you do, that is just so all in with you on everything, I think is extremely important, because there's so many people on this world, my dad included, who just kind of go through life alone. Um, and I need to do a better job of being there for him and stuff too, because like I'm his son and stuff. Like it's for me or for him, I'm that person. I'm that relationship. For me, it's Maddie. It's my girlfriend. It's so important, I think, to be able to share everything you love with someone you love. It's I wouldn't be 12 Gauge without her, you know? She fucking created me. She created this brand. She's the one who does my makeup for all my shows. I've tried it. It looks awful when I do it myself. She is one of the most talented makeup artists I've ever met. Like every single time we go out and she sees and people like see her makeup and stuff, people are just like like
Yeah.
so
I'm like, we're gonna get some pictures of you guys tonight then.
oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Literally we're going to be like that. So It's extremely important to have someone you're able to rely on, but it's also important to be able to rely on yourself. You know, that was one of our main issues when we were like living together and stuff. We depended way too importantly on on each other. It got hard to function alone without the other person there, and that like, oh, that was a dark time. That
Mhm.
was a really really dark time. But it wasn't anyone's own fault. It was a collective effort of not communicating, not making sure we were doing the things we needed to do alone, because you're not always going to be with them, you
Mhm.
know. Even if you do like spend the rest of your life with that one person, they're not going to be there 24/7. You need to be able to cook for yourself. You need to be able to do things without them reminding you. You need to be able to get the fuck in the gym without them, you know? Like so it's that kind of that relationship, that balance, being able to set those boundaries. Like I love you so much. I want to do everything with you the rest of my life, but I also need to be able to do things on my own. That's probably the most important thing out of any long lasting relationship, I
Yeah.
think, along with a slew of other things. But that thing alone is like, once we figured that out, like,
Yeah.
it was so much better.
And so what's next for you? What can everybody expect?
Um, like as an artist,
Yeah.
so
Or just in general.
in general, I'm making the heaviest music I've ever made at this point. I've got my first Spotify release with my buddy Nick, aka Panda. You guys are gonna see him.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I so how I was doing it to like promote this event, I was just DMing like I would hop on the Fresno EDM
mhm.
pages and just DM the followers, and a couple of them they were saying they're coming just for Panda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's bringing a huge crowd, way bigger crowd than I'm bringing. I mean, I'm bringing a decent crowd. I'm bringing like 30, 40 people from LA.
That's
But
crazy.
I remember he was explaining like a lot of his fan base is like out here. A lot of them. So I absolutely believe there are a ton of those followers are coming like just for him and stuff, which makes me so happy because he is such a talented producer. He is probably one of the most genuine people I've ever met. Such a sweetheart. But like, dude, if you get on his bad side, I pray for you. I pray for you. But yeah, there's so many people that are coming just for him, and we've got a track coming out either at the end of this month or sometime next month in March called Buckshots. It's gonna be out everywhere. One of the heaviest tracks I've ever made, obviously with his help because it was a collective effort. But I'm super excited for that one. I'm playing a festival called Lionheart Festival in Orlando in March. Meeting up with one of my producer buddies that I actually opened for a few months ago. He's playing the same festival, so it's gonna be cool to see him. And then just this summer when I graduate, we're going balls to the wall. We are diving straight into music, and I don't even know what's coming
What's
after
gonna
that
come?
yet. But yeah, we've got the festival, we've got the Spotify release, we've got the merch shop, 12gageclothing.shop, and then it's just we see where it goes from there.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
anything else you would like to say to your fans, to your followers, to people that support you?
Don't ever fucking stop. I've wanted to stop so many times in so many aspects of my life, and I'm so happy that I had the parents, the upbringing that I did to be like, even if you want to stop, we're not letting you. I've carried that mentality into music. I've wanted to quit so many times over the last 10 years, but I'm so happy I didn't because I wouldn't be where I am without it. Don't ever fucking stop. Keep fucking going.
Yeah, that's great. No, with everything else, I mean, whatever you do, things are hard, and the things that are hard is because people give up along the way. Those that stick with it, those are ones that make it far, man. So that's a
Absolutely.
great message, man. Well, dude, thank you so much again
Thank you
for
guys
for
for
coming
having me.
on.
This was awesome.
Yeah,
Like this is
yeah,
my
I had a
first time
good
doing
time.
something like this. I had an amazing time.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
No, likewise, man. You're so and like how you were talking about like the people in the industry that it's every man for himself. I'm like, you seem like such a genuine dude, man.
Thank you.
So
I
I hope
appreciate
to see
it.
you do big things, man. I hope
Thank
you,
you.
keep that same
Keeping
energy,
you
and
guys in the loop
we're
with
gonna, yeah,
everything.
yeah, we're gonna keep watching, man, for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate
And then
it.
when
But
you get big, just come back and
Oh, dude, absolutely. Please, I'll come back anytime you guys want me. Seriously.
yeah,
Like I mean, like I said, this is my first time doing something like this. Like I've literally never talked about like myself and just like the stuff that I have going on like this with anyone, because it's always been just me. So this was like, it's definitely like new waters and stuff. Like you guys saw, like I blanked a few times just because I'm like not used to this. But
And then I'm gonna get a lot of stuff out of you right now.
okay, let's do it.
But it's not.
Before Luis gets into it, I did want to ask how how was it going through the process of getting a manager? When did you know that you needed a manager?
I knew that I needed a manager when I realized that the only thing promoters in LA and pretty much every other area of the world, the only thing they care about are ticket sales. They don't care about you as an artist as much as they may say you are. That's gonna go up. They're gonna say like more and more things the more tickets you're able to sell. Excuse me. And if you're not able to sell tickets, you're worthless to them, and they will tell you to your face.
It's always numbers.
They will literally. I've had so many conversations with promoters that are like, look, you have no following, you're not able to sell tickets. Like, they place your worth as an artist on how much you're able to sell tickets, which at the end of the day, that's what's bringing people to your shows, you know. So it is important, but that doesn't mean you're a worthless artist. That doesn't mean you're not good. Some of the most talented producers on the planet will never be recognized because they're not able to sell tickets. They don't know how to work every aspect of this industry, you know. So
This industry is obviously driven by numbers.
it's numbers. Everything is a statistic. And as much as people, as different as people are in person than they are on paper, the numbers don't lie, you know. They
'Cause
don't.
you could actually be a pretty terrible artist, but then, but if it's popping, it's popping.
And there are so many people like that. I'm sorry. There are so many people like that they have no business being the artist they are, or having the platform they are, but they're able to sell tickets because like
When you said that, I had like many just like I like hip hop and rap, so I had like many artists. I'm like, dude, there's no way you should have a platform, but
there's no reason they should have the platform they do, but they do because they're popular and they can sell tickets.
in my I'm into the video stuff, so in my industry it's a little bit more true, because there you can't have a popping video that's terrible quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can. The what's it called?
Well, there's memes and stuff like that, but when
There's
you charge for like quality content, it can be bad.
back in what was it, like the early 2000s, all those funny ass videos.
Oh,
What?
So we're all Mexican, right?
Okay.
So there's a bunch of like funny like videos that would pop up of like a fucking kid getting hit or like different shit. There's this one video of this one kid he's on like two logs, and then his brother's like messing with the logs, and the kid that's on top, he's screaming to his mom, "Look, like he's messing with me," and that shit like went viral like
but
crazy.
his voice was super funny. It's called La Caída de Edgar, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Man, that was like one of the first videos to, maybe not the first, but one of the first to really go viral. Like,
Okay.
especially in the Spanish community.
Okay.
That was definitely like one of the first YouTube videos to.
Are you like Mexican?
No, so I'm white as fuck.
Okay.
What is it?
I
Have you gotten DNA tested or nothing like that?
No.
Bro, you should do it. It's
No,
interesting.
I know, and I'm super interested. I know I have a little bit of East Indian in me on my mom's side because her mom was literally born.
Or it'll
in
confuse you
California.
even further.
Yeah,
Like-
it
like-
might confuse me even further. It might give me some clarification, but I know I have East Indian. I know I have German. I know I have Russian. I know I have American Indian. Italian for my last name is Patron, but like in like the way it's pronounced is Petrone.
Do you like Patron?
I'm not a tequila drinker. I know it's super. It's like an oxymoron. Yeah, my last name's Patron, but I can't stand tequila. Like
You haven't tasted good tequila. That's why.
my first ever shot that I had ever taken was tequila, but it was Jose Cuervo.
Oh, that's horrible.
I know.
Trash.
I was like, why do people like this
Exactly.
and stuff? But it was like the only thing that was there, and I had.
I hate most tequila, but like I said, if you get the right one,
Oh, it's a good one.
it's great. Man.
In LA, it's easier to get. There's this one called Fortaleza. It's like a squared bottle. Well, it's a rectangle, but it's squared.
Okay.
And it's a really good one. It's Fortaleza. At the top, it's agave, like it's agave cut all the way to a cork size.
Oh wow.
That's just.
You know who I trust with tequila? That man right there behind the scenes.
I'm the one that gave him all
Mikey.
his.
Oh yeah,
I'm the one that gave him all.
Then
his
I strictly trust you. Then
The tequila connoisseur.
Mexico bottles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Fortaleza's bomb. Another good one that's really easy to get is Tres Generaciones. You can find it at Costco. It's the one with 3 lines.
Okay.
Like on the bottle,
Yeah, it's
it's like
three
stripes.
three golden stripes. Yeah,
Okay.
get the reposado bomb.
Okay, for
Yeah.
sure.
Those are
Okay,
two
then I'll have to.
recommendations. I don't want to overwhelm you because
No, dude, I love alcohol. Like, I've only been drinking since 19.
Oh.
So like I was telling you before I started rolling, like I was a loser in high school.
Oh,
I didn't have.
your liver has a good ways to go, brother.
Yeah,
Use
I'm like a
it.
newborn in terms of alcohol and
Use
stuff.
it to
Mine
be
mine's already like I have the engine sign on for me, bro.
The check engine light on your liver is
Yeah,
crazy,
bro.
bro.
I'm done for.
I'm-
I'm cooked, bro. I'm like burnt chicken, bro.
Oh.
I can't go back, bro.
I'm dead, bro. That's so funny. Oh
Bro,
my
I'm
God.
gonna turn it back. So
Okay.
you said you got your name from in different ways, but something that had to do with gaming, bro.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
you used to game or what?
yeah, I am. So, like I said earlier, I was raised by video games and EDM. And one of the games that I absolutely loved growing up was Overwatch.
Oh,
And in Overwatch, even though there was the first one, there was no story mode. The objective bad guy and like the lore were the Omnics. And I thought the name was so hard. So I tried Omnix 115.
yeah, that's
Excuse
what
me,
it.
taken. So I was like, all right, let's just take the C and the S off the end. Omni. I was like, that's got a nice ring to it. Add tech to it. Omni Tech 115. That's
That's
in
right.
my little like 11-year-old, 12-year-old brain. Oh yeah, this is kind of fire, you know. So, that's
What game system did you start on?
the GameCube. I
GameCube?
started
Okay,
on the
okay. So yeah,
GameCube with the original Metroid Primes. Not the original, but like the GameCube version of the Metroid Prime. Pikmin, Luigi's Mansion, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
I'm,
Those were all the games that I played on the GameCube.
I'm starting to have unk status. Like I started on the Nintendo 64.
Oh Lord,
Yeah,
I.
but damn,
Okay,
don't say
Dad.
that.
Okay, Dad.
Luis is definitely status, huh?
Oh, damn.
then and then I played on the PS1, PS2, PS3,
Okay.
4, and 5.
I was a little young for the PlayStation 1 and 2, but my
Yeah.
dad got a PlayStation 3, and he played on that a little bit, but it was like I didn't get into that until a little bit later. And then my first real introduction to like the games that I like now was on the Xbox 360. The month it came out, I think was it was with the Kinect, you know, like the little like body tracker kind of thing. My sister was playing Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty in the living
You guys
room.
made me feel old, bro. I was you guys always like make me say like,
I don't
oh,
mean to. I'm sorry. but
Tetris is a hell of a game, man.
I can't believe I just heard that.
No.
Tetris, bro? Are you serious?
Nah, bro. I was just
Oh my
messing around.
God.
He's trying to save himself.
You-
It's,
like-
I'm being
you
sarcastic.
like,
It's like
what
Luis
was it?
loves that game.
no, but my real
Pong?
my real
Luis,
this thing.
Luis
Oh
loves
my-
playing that game.
Minesweeper, dude. Oh
Nah,
my
my
God.
real gaming days began like with the PS2, like the end days of the PS2.
Okay, what
and then-
games?
I remember like just like FIFA games.
Okay.
I don't know if you know like War of the Monsters.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of those little
Okay.
mini games for the PS2 that they were great. Destroy All Humans, like
I fucking love
I
Destroy
know,
All Humans,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Oh my God, that was
what
one
else?
of the
There's
first
a
rated M games I
PS2 has a
played.
lot of great games, man.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I wish more of them were more backwards compatible on the PS5.
Yeah, yep,
I
yep.
wish. Like
That's-
they don't have Destroy All. They have the remake, but the remake is nowhere near as good as the
That's the
original.
issue, bro.
Yeah. So.
I was
So-
playing the swap meet games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was shooting the birds.
The duck hunt on the
Yeah,
Wii.
duck hunt.
Dude. Oh my God. Oh, that's another one on the Wii. What was it? It was like a zombie point and shoot game, House of the Dead.
Yeah.
That game I played so much, and I was only ever able to play it. Same with Modern Warfare when my mom was out of the house because she did not let me play those kinds of games.
To me, PS3 was peak though, man. Like, cause like I got to play in the biggest era of Black Ops 1, bro.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
that was insane, bro. Like
Hell
it was
yeah.
like a culture thing. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't even, it went so much outside of gaming
Mhm.
that it became like a
It was
like
a
the
community, dude.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
because
literally like the midnight releases at GameStop. Like I remember I did my first ever midnight release the night the PS4 was released with Black Ops 3.
oh yeah, yep.
I was able to get the custom or my dad got the custom Black Ops 3 PS4 where it had like it was all like orange and black and had the custom controller. I still have that thing
That's what's up.
because it literally like the unused ones sell for like $800 on eBay.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I'm never getting rid of it because
Bro, I used to have Pokemon Platinum and Diamond.
On the
And
DS
yeah,
or on
and then
the Game
now
Boy?
they're worth hella money, bro.
Yeah.
Even I think I had the Platinum edition too. And
Okay.
the Platinum now, like the little, it used to be like $30 brand new or $40 brand new. Now it's going for like 400 to 800.
Jesus.
I know. I was
have,
calling my dad and sister. I was like, where's it at? Where's it at? And then I think they threw everything away. And I was
That
like, oh my
sucks,
god,
bro.
I have the iPhone with the Flappy Birds.
Oh,
You still have the Flappy
bro,
Bird game? Oh,
bro,
no.
me too.
Yeah, it doesn't work, but I have it.
I have a
Just
I
put
have
a new battery and it's good.
bro. I have a Note 3, like a Samsung Note
Mhm.
3 that's still fully functional and it has Flappy Bird, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
Yeah.
it's.
I'm gonna save
like
it for 100 years, and that's my retirement plan, bro.
I don't know what iPhone it is.
That's the Black Ops 3 PS4 with me, dude. There's my social security check. Like,
Oh,
I'm dead. But yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original one on the Xbox 360, that was my first intro to FPS games, and I bought every single Call of Duty after that. Every single one. I stopped it around when Vanguard came out a few years ago because, God, the game started going downhill, especially when Warzone was first introduced. I'll probably get a lot of hate for this. Fuck Warzone.
oh.
Ruined Call of Duty.
I
Are you a Warzone stan? Do you
well,
like Warzone?
I only had like 1 or 2 seasons that I played, and
Same.
I
only
had
played like the first one.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and they were really fun because I was doing it with with my younger sister and my brother-in-law, so that was super fun.
Okay.
But after that, it was just kind of like it
Okay.
didn't go anywhere for me.
For sure.
And then I think my peak was just like Black Ops 1 and 2. I feel like I did everything you could on those games.
Yeah, Black Ops 2 was where I really started to dive into it. My first online experience was Modern Warfare 3. Not this one that just came out, but the one that came out after Modern Warfare 2, the original one. That was my first online experience because that's when my dad got me my first headset and I could like talk online and stuff. And I
That's the
remember
Turtle Beach.
they were
Yeah.
Turtle Beaches,
Yeah.
and I loved that headset so much because it had like the mic monitor.
But like
and everything.
every kid wanted that, bro.
Dude, they were so nice. I felt like an F-22 pilot with them on. It was so fun. But I remember jumping into my first lobby and opening my mouth, and then a bunch of dudes started like grown ass men started like cussing me out and stuff, and I literally.
Oh,
as
what
soon
do
as
you
that-
think about that? How they everything's so censored now? I mean, I don't play anymore. I haven't played in a few
It's
years.
a rated M game. It's made for adults.
Why are they
There
making
should
it
be
for
no
kids?
reason that developers are censoring swear words and stuff. I get like slurs and stuff
Yeah.
because like there's no reason you should be calling someone the hard R or like the F the bad F word on like Xbox or like on PlayStation or whatever. There should be no reason you're saying that because that's just mean, you know. But like saying like typing fuck in the chat or typing shit and you're like getting comm banned for a year. There's no reason that should be happening. It's a rated M game. You need an ID to play it. Like, what? And I get it. There's kids that play it. I was one of the kids that played it, but like that's just part of the game. It's a game for adults.
That's
There's-
to me that was the end for me. Because
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what? I'm not gonna go on an online game where I can't talk shit.
They're,
Bro.
yeah, they're getting rid of shit talking and
Yeah,
stuff.
like-
And it's like, yeah, like games like Rocket League where they have like the preset chat things where it's like if you score on someone and you can like spam what a save in the chat, like, yeah, that's fine. But you know they're banning people for that now.
Yeah, exactly. That's too much, bro.
They're doing way too much and it's literally killing their fan base. And I don't understand what's going through these developers' heads when they see that their numbers are dropping as they're pushing more and more security protocols into this chat.
That's one of the biggest parts of what people loved. It's being able to interact with anybody however you wanted.
Exactly.
You know?
Like shit talking is like it's a part of life.
Yeah.
Literally. Like I think I could speak for every single person in this room when I say that like we were raised talking shit.
And me most of the time I wouldn't be the one talking anything, but it was hella funny to always hear
It was
people.
hilarious.
It was
Dude. Hearing two people
hilarious,
get
man.
added
Yeah.
in not in
Yeah.
Discord, in the Xbox Live parties, and then someone just starts blowing into
Yeah.
their mic, like
Yeah.
super, like just destroying your ear. It's hilarious, bro. And those are some of the funniest like gaming clips on YouTube.
Yep.
But it's all gone now. You can't do any of that, and it's just so bullshit. It is so
Well,
bullshit.
part of the reason why I have this segment is because I have like uh my attention span is this big, bro. So
You and me both.
like
That's why I make
so
dubstep.
so so moving on to the next question, which is like completely in a different way.
Mhm.
But you mentioned like in having or dealing with anxieties and stuff like that. Uh and in your genre with music and all that sort of stuff, how like have you had any issues with that sort of a thing?
With anxiety,
With mental health or
absolutely. I've
because I know
one
like what you do, you have to be in front of crowds and
yeah. So going back to what I said, like I was raised in the acting industry and stuff, and like on shows and commercials and stuff. So I was like raised in front of a group of people, essentially. So I never really had performance anxiety. Well, I have performance anxiety, but I never really had it like a super stand up fear of getting in front of a group of people and performing, whether it be public speaking, which is like the number one fear among like people on planet Earth. Did you guys know that? It's public speaking.
I don't know.
Getting in front of a group of people, even just on a podcast like this in front of cameras. That's literally one of the number one fears on planet Earth, if not the number one, is public speaking. So I never really had an issue with that, but I had a lot of mental health issues, major depressive episodes, major anxiety. I was fighting off some of the worst panic and anxiety attacks I've ever had. Right around when I met my girlfriend. Luckily, she's super well versed in like taking like care of your.
Is there something that triggered those events or?
Yeah, definitely like conversations with my parents and stuff about like just certain things. It was because I did have kind of a rough childhood, so like thinking back on that stuff, it would just pop into my head, and I would literally need to pull over and call my girlfriend and have her count to 5 while I took deep breaths. And that happened a lot when I first met her because I was in a really bad mental state. She literally one of the notes she wrote me because we like writing each other notes and stuff. One of the first notes she ever wrote me was um nothing makes me happier than seeing how much brighter your eyes got and seeing the sparkle return to your eyes from the time I first met you to now. And obviously she's a big part of that, but like getting more into music and stuff and just doing the things that I loved was a big part of that. But like when I met her, everything changed and stuff. She was a big reason of or she was a big reason why my mental health got so much better.
Sometimes a little, what would you call it? A little bit of encouragement or help from people goes a long way.
Even just talking.
Yeah.
Like I just started therapy up again, and it's been really hard because I'm touching on a lot of issues that I like have with my dad and stuff. Um Even though that's all just like mental, it's not really like he beats me or whatever. Like no, he does not beat me or anything like that. But like,
My dad didn't care enough about me to beat me.
oh dude,
Yeah, you wish he beat you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would have taught something.
oh lord,
No, I'm just
my
fine.
mom beat me. So
My mom beat me every day. Oh.
yeah,
She cared.
literally, dude. As
She
soon as I get
cared.
out of the shower, butt naked, with chasing me around the house with a friggin' hairbrush, trying to whack my ass with it, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh my god.
My mom used to beat me almost every day, but I had this one friend that he would talk about when he would get in trouble. His mom used to make him take cold showers, and right after he got out the shower, she would beat him like
Oh my God.
with
Imagine
the
those shower thoughts.
with the
Jesus
with
Christ.
the broom extension cord.
Oh god.
I was like, God damn! I was like, Mom doesn't love me that much.
I'm not sure that's love.
Imagine
If I'm
those.
being honest. I don't think that's love. I'm
No,
not an
that's
expert, but I don't think that's. I love you, so I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
That's
now.
definitely
Like,
not love.
what?
Yeah,
Oh
but I
my
never got beat that bad. It was just like It was like, you
You
guys ever
you
seen?
fuck up.
No, you guys ever seen like the
Mexican
reels and
check?
shit? No, when they're doing math and like the kid's not getting it right, so the mom beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's not
Oh.
okay.
That was me.
That is not. That was me too.
Yeah.
I would get screamed at if I didn't get a
You didn't get
answer
the.
on my homework right, and I would get smacked upside the head.
But now I'm great.
Bad grades, bad report card.
Did it make
smacked
you
the-
smarter or no?
Fuck no. I'm as dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to school. I'm gonna be honest. I'm so happy to be done with it pretty soon. And I know everyone is like, "Oh, you're gonna eat those words as soon as you start working and stuff." And I'm like, dude, I've been working since the day I turned 18. I would much prefer have a 9 to 5 than worry about school.
That's gonna be my next subject. But let me just finish
Yeah.
on the mental health stuff. So in your journey, because obviously you have had progress, what is your best advice to people that deal with that still are in the worst parts of their problems?
You gotta feel the things you're feeling. You can't bottle everything up inside. Speaking from personal experience, what happens when you close a 2 liter of Coke and shake it as hard as you can?
Explode then.
It explodes at some point. Yeah, the plastic and the cap are only gonna take it so far. But what happens when it gets hit a little bit too hard or something punctures it? Those little experiences are like those little things that happen in your life that like really kind of fuck with you mentally are the little individual shakes. And eventually at some point life happens, there's going to be that little pin needle, that little prick, and it's just going to explode. And that's what happens if you don't feel the things you're feeling. That's step 1. Step 2 is talking about it. Even if you're not talking to anyone, if you're just journaling, if you're just being mindful of the things you're feeling, why am I feeling like this? What's making me feel like this? You don't even need therapy for that. That goes such a long way because once you do that, it's not bottled up inside. Once you do that, it's like you're letting a little bit of air out of that 2 liter of Coke, and it slowly starts to depressurize. And that depressurization is what allows you to function like a working, functioning, normal human being. You can't function every day with all of those things bottled up inside. I can speak from experience. Bad things happen, awful things happen. You risk relationships and stuff like that. You risk job opportunities. I've lost job opportunities because of how bad my mental health was at the time of like having said job. So it's you have to just, one, feel the things you're feeling. Two, in any way that you're comfortable with, writing, journaling, talk about it, put it into the universe, because every single time you talk about it and be mindful of the things you're feeling, just lets a little bit of that pressure out.
Those are great words, and
Thank
you
you.
might help somebody, man.
I hope so.
And
I hope so, because it's helped me infinitely.
and moving on to the last thing, at least for me, if you have any other questions, but um, I love meeting creatives like yourself, artists, because of this. You guys follow kind of like your dream, what you actually want to do. So how, like you said earlier, like people like would say like, oh, you're gonna eat your words because you didn't follow through with school or stuff like that. So how do you feel, like what would you like to become?
So I have been an artist my entire life, whether it be with acting, whether it be with writing, whether it be with music. I know I'm a creative. That's my coping mechanism, because in the great words of Patrick Starr, the entropies of my mind are an enigma.
I love that.
cue the milk bottle falling over. But I've been a creative my entire life and stuff. And I don't know, it's just, I know not everybody is like this, but I've just always been so driven towards every single one of my goals. And I know music, especially going to my first festival and stuff, and having the background I have in EDM, being essentially raised by it courtesy of my mom. I know this is what I want to do the rest of my life, whether it be with event planning, whether it be with even managing, even though I know jack shit about that. But I know I want to be an artist. I know I want to share how I feel with how this music makes me feel with the rest of the world. And I also I'm also a big advocate for surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Humans are creatures of habit. You know, like a bearded dragon, a lizard is only going to grow as big as the cage it's living in, you know? So if you're surrounded by people who are just not working towards their goals every day, even if it's just one tiny little thing, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's what it was like for me. I towards the middle of last year, end of last year, I did a big spring cleaning of the people who weren't nearly as ambitious and creative as me, and it has done wonders for me because that opened up room in my life for people that are. That is probably one of the biggest decisions I've ever made, and one of the most beneficial decisions I've made in my life as an artist is doing that spring cleaning of the people who quite frankly don't want to do anything with their lives, you know? Um, and just surrounding myself with one, people that do want to do something with their lives, two, are actively working towards it and want it more than anything else on this planet, and three, are doing the same thing as me.
You think it's worse that people live lives they don't want to live, or that they don't do anything?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Because like
Ooh, that's a
people,
tough one.
right? Because I met people who are successful money wise, but they're miserable. I mean, I'm talking like lifeless. Like
Um, God, that's a tough question. I would say I think because each answer has their pros and cons, you know. I would say probably the people who aren't doing anything with their lives are better off because at the end of the day, what do you have? What's
yeah.
up here,
Oh,
right? You
right,
have your
right.
mental state,
You're
you have
right.
your mental health, and even if you're not doing anything super substantial with your life, but you're happy, because there's people who are like that, they're better off than the people who, yeah, might have millions of dollars, but are miserable, like you said. So I definitely think the people who aren't really doing a whole lot with their lives, and that's subjective too, but like the people who don't have millions but are super happy, I think they're a little bit better off, I would say.
David, my man.
What kind of advice would you give? So let's just use your like EDM stuff, right?
Hmm.
What kind of advice would you give to someone in your field that's stuck to get to the next level?
Remember why you started it. Um, Everyone starts it for a reason, you know. Um, I don't think if you're doing this for the fame, if you're doing this for the money, you're not gonna go far. Because the EDM industry, yeah, it's huge. It's blowing up bigger than it ever has before. It's still a small chunk of the entertainment industry. Super small chunk. Like the biggest EDM artists on the planet, like Slander, Excision, aren't making a fifth of what A-list actors are making, or what people like Kendrick Lamar are making. You know, they're not playing. You don't see Excision playing the Super Bowl halftime show, right?
And there's still a big gap in between that and that being a reality.
Yeah, exactly. A huge gap. And for the people who are stuck, and I'm speaking right now towards the people who are doing it for the right reasons. You got to remember why you started it in the first place. You know, because that's what's going to carry it on. And if you give it enough thought, every single uh every single step that you make, every single thing that you do is gonna remind you of why you started it in the first place.
And I talked to this conversation uh makes me remember a conversation I had with a young buck, a guy that's like he just got out of high school.
I'm a young buck.
My...
I'm a young buck. Like, I'm
We're
a
all young
child,
bucks.
bro.
But he was basically telling me like he wanted to get into raves and EDM because a lot of the people at school are doing it. So that is the big next thing. So where do you see yourself like in if everything can go as best as you could, what would you say like, man, this is like, yeah, not only did I do what I wanted to do in my life, but I went that much more far ahead.
I have a few things that are like I have like three big ticket things like that.
Yeah,
One,
bucket list.
100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
That's dope.
That's one of my I made it moments for me. Two, um, I don't have to be headlining EDC, but playing EDC, like one of the big stages, like Circuit Grounds, Base Pod. I made it. 3, my own headline tour, that I get to travel the world and people are there to see me, and people are there because they resonate with my music in one way or another. Those are my 3 things. And if I'm able to do just one of those things, I can die happy. I can say I set out what I did to do. Let's say it's 10 years from now. I did what I set out to do 20 years ago. So,
The music industry, I'm not in it, right? I started like getting into business and stuff, and I see it kind of the same way. And I feel like you do have this mentality, but there's a thing that they say, give, give, give until they ask, and you're already doing that. So you're just all these free shows that you're doing, just keep doing it, get your name out, and just wait till they fucking start asking for you.
you're
And I'm pretty
absolutely
sure you're
right.
gonna get there.
You're absolutely right. Um, because like that exposure and stuff, like how we talked about earlier, is what's gonna get people to ask. They're gonna see all these promoters are gonna see this crazy amount of people at your shows. They're gonna see the whole crowd from front to back moving up and down, like with your music, jumping, headbanging, shuffling, friggin' muzzing. Like they're all gonna see that, and then they're gonna start asking. So like that exposure and stuff. Like I'm never gonna do it for the money. That's never been what it's been for
It's
me.
one good quote that I heard from Kendrick Lamar. Every artist just wants to be loved, man.
That's literally it. That's literally it. They want to be loved as much as they love the music they're making.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, I think those are
good
some
shit,
good
Kendrick.
words.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, those are some good words to end it off. I know that we're like way over the time that we wanted, but that's what happens in good conversations, you know?
I appreciate you guys listening to the app session. Seriously, I do.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much. Like
Well,
this
but
was so fun.
brother, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
David, gracias.
Gracias.
Next to the next time, guys.
In Italian, prego.